Hey everyone, this is your precision markets coaches Brian, Nate, and Marco, hosting our weekly office hours call. So the format of this call, if this in case is your first time, we answer questions in order that's received, whether it be via the chat function in Zoom or also via audio. And during this time, you can share charts. We can be able to share open charts. We can share any screens, anything you need to really answer your questions, anything you have trading related. We want to give you something more than just the questions box within Discord. So feel free to ask your questions and we'll go in the order receive and we'll answer them from there. I ended up, I think, stopping my trading day at 1 hour before New York closed. I took a nap. I literally just woke up not too long ago. So I was tired, but I had a couple of trades on my post that I won, and the rest I just broke even, man. I had I had at least 4 break-even trades today from different things that I tried, and I've been doing something in backtesting, been really trying to do more backtesting to identify more characteristics of my losses. And there was something I realized that two common things I've been doing, all tied to consolidations. And when those things happen, that's when I would accrue a bunch of losses. Man, I noticed it today where I avoided some areas where usually before I would be liquidity. And it was really cool just to see, the fact that I knew better in the moment to be able to take the trades I did. So I avoided losses, took break evens and had a couple wins. So overall, good day, but the day was stressful, it felt like, because the price action seemed like it was waiting for something big to happen. And then you get this drops, we got rises and drops all day. So it's like they literally are just waiting maybe for PPI that happens tomorrow and for CPI that happens Thursday. So
yeah, and then the biggest drop happens at the end of the kill zone. That's just funny.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yep.
All right.
Is there a reason for this drop? Like, because to me, it didn't respect the supply zone. It went past it like on EU and GU. It's like, so is there a reason for this big old up and then drop?
Well, we got a lot of things going on. I'm gonna start doing commentary guys for fundamentals the night before, because when I do it in the morning, like when I woke up this morning, there was at least 3 different trade opportunities I was watching. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get to them until after London Open. So I'm gonna start posting it the night before. But we had the International Money Fund today. It's a 3-day conference. World Bank leaders all around the world are there in Washington, D.C. And so they're talking. And one of the things that was interesting is that they lowered the forecast for global growth for China, for Europe, the United States. And you had a couple of like Fed speeches, nothing too big, but the IMF is of some significance because they were posting some things about, what they think about the next 2 years when it comes to inflation. And that's, something to watch, telltale of what's going to happen with the economies and stuff like that. Then you also had conversations about OPEC, oil output. The cost of oil is a big factor when it comes into inflation. The cost of oil also is going to rise sharply. And then we're 1 day before the producer price index, which banks seem to want to wait and see what happens. You're 2 days away from the next CPI where they talk about inflation. So you have IMF, which concludes their 3-day tour tomorrow, and you also got CPI this week. I mean, anything inflation related and any kind of good or bad seems to send things up and down, So I hope that makes sense, Perry.
Yeah, I got it. I understand.
Cool.
Yeah, but the night before, that'll be nice.
Himself.
Say that one more time.
Sorry, Perry, go on ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, that'll be nice the night before, because when I wake up, sometimes I try to read the fundamentals, and then but I can't. I have to go work on my trading.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, definitely start doing the night before, guys. Better for me as well.
Thanks.
What's your time zone, Perry?
Pacific Standard Time, Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just trade in Y session. I don't know if it's sustainable for me to like live a life and then just do London and New York. So
Yeah.
No, I definitely can't, brother. I've sacrificed that. All right. We got a couple of questions. Somebody had raised their hand, but I saw their hand go away. If you do have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat, guys, and we're going to answer them on order received. So first question you asked is, did I take any trades today? Yeah, I did. I took a nap, honestly. So I didn't even make time. I was just really just posting to fundamentals from my bed. But I guess let me go ahead and share what I saw today. Give me 1 second, guys. Marco had a killer trade today on gold. So
yeah, at least one to start the week.
I know it's a good way to start the week, brother. So here was it on NASDAQ. So pretty much my daily bias was that price was going down. So this was my higher time frame bias. But I also knew that we were inside a demand zone. So I had this drawn as a daily demand. But since I use daily, that means if I want to see a directional change and if I expect price to go up, then I would need to see a chalk on the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, I had drawn a line. Sorry, guys, I have to correlate my charts because I forget sometimes. Okay, here we go. So this to me was the last supply zone that I needed to see broken. If price went up here, it would have caused for me to look for buys. But this is the London Open. So as you see, it never really got to that point where it broke during the kind of course of the day. So this, you could treat this essentially didn't put in anything because it didn't break anything. Hit this low, just wicks. I used candlestick body breaks. So by the time I was looking at this point in the day, I wasn't looking that far anyways. I could treat this as a 1 hour supply right here. And I could treat this like a break. And then at that point, then my bias would change to buys. But at the beginning of the day, my bias was set to sales. Hopping down on just 15-minute because I pull either 1 hour or 15-minute POIs. I prefer 15 though. So here we had, I think this was the break. This was the zone that I chose right here. It broke on the first time, and something I've worked on specifically for myself is you have to watch out for these consolidation traps. So what I mean by this is one of the key requirements I have for POIs, they got to break something. So this low was taken out right here, and then we had imbalance. So the price goes here, it moves up like this. Where I took my trade was based upon this entry. But if price fails to enter in this low right here, and it does something like this, and it comes back into your POI, start noticing that this is where I would take second entries here and I would take losses. I did this a week ago. I've done this too many times in back testing, something I noticed I had to avoid. So even if it comes over here, I still needed to cross over and break this as a low, or even this. So it did break here, but you'll notice that price went up all the way. It took out the supply zone anyways. So something to kind of watch and pay attention to. All of this right here is what I consider consolidation behavior, but this also is what we consider this is consolidations, and you want to avoid it. So I would be willing to take the first one, wouldn't be willing to take the second one, and hell, even this, I wasn't even looking at that either. I said, to hell with it. I want to see some type of new supply zone created if we're going to go that way, because this is where you end up taking a lot of losses. But we'll go ahead and go down to my entry time frame. So I use 15 seconds for entry. Most commonly, I use 15 seconds. I don't recommend y'all hopping into 15 seconds until y'all have a solid understanding of your entry model, because if not, all you're going to do is wreck your account even faster than NFP can. So here it was my BOS right here. And then what I was waiting for was waiting for this low to go to chalk, and it did. So there's chalk. For me, I wanted to get good pricing. So here I have my, I take EQ equilibrium, which I consider anywhere to be 40, 60 plus either this discount or premium too. So here's my whole entry area. How does this look? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, this is the one that I avoided. This is, sorry, guys, this is the one. Hold on a second. This is the one I saw that I didn't take. Hold on one second. That's what I was looking for that I missed. I should have taken that one. Ah, here it was, the other one. Okay, here it goes. So I was like, I know it was right before I let it open. Here's also another supply zone, same thing. So this one broke this low, price comes down. Now, the way it returned, it didn't return with much movement, but let me turn this on really quick. Bam. You see the volume up here? The volume is really, really low until you get to the London Open. And right when you get to London Open, you get a boost in volume, right? So I don't take out, I'm willing to start my trading day right when it gets to the Frankfurt Open. And that's usually gets a little small boost, not too much, but that's when I start my trading day. But I know when we get to London, the volumes are going to increase as well too. So even though the return that it looks really weak, I wasn't too concerned about it because I figured that there would be a boost when we get to the market open for London. Come on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. All right, so price ends up making BOS here. So what I was looking for was a chalk to happen. Chalk was right here. It gave me an entry area like this for me to look at. Didn't come up and tap into my EQ versus EQ and premium pricing. So then second place I looked was here. And so this one, it does come into my area. The only problem is I didn't get what I consider a confirmation candlestick on this one. So what I ended up going is I pulled the next area. And so this was the last one I was willing to consider. So price comes into my EQ versus comes into my EQ plus is this premium. I got me a confirmation I was looking for. Kind of tight on the stop sometimes. What was it, 7.5? So here we're literally 7 minutes before the London Open, and then I was able to nab me a 5R. So I think so yeah, it pretty much made a drop like this. And boom, start the day with partial win here. And then I had another trade that I took also that was kind of close to the same time. So Audi USD, I took another trade on. All right, price was, where did y'all go? Oh, price was going down. Oh, there's y'all's window. Sorry guys, couldn't find your windows. Like, where'd y'all go? Higher time frame bias was sells. So on the 1 hour, I was looking when the day started for, this was the last high to be broken. This was the last supply zone. So if it went above this, would have closed above, I was looking for buys. Oh, I did the line. All right, so pretty much if it went over above this line, then I'll be looking for buys, but here is the Frankfurt Open. So we are all the way down here. Didn't make, so looking for sales at the moment. Price ended up coming into this supply zone. So here was the low. It makes a pullback. It breaks. All of this is basically a supply zone I was looking for. So here's my supply on M15. We get this. And then we also have a second supply zone. Hard to see, but it pulls back, breaks. We got imbalance. So I had two supply zones essentially that I was looking for the day, and seeing if price comes to one of the two. So we'll go down to my entry time frame that I use. I use 15-second, and there we go. So price ends up quickly find my spots, guys. Okay, so price ends up 147 a.m. right here. Okay, this was the last break of structure right here. This was the chalk I was waiting for right here. Now, I'm gonna make you laugh, Nate. I literally was talking to my mom on the phone and she was asking me a question and I told her to stop because I saw a trade opportunity. So I ended up, my mom was like, what are you, she heard me like typing and clicking buttons. I was like, I'm trying to catch these pips. So price ended up coming in here. I had a confirmation, take my trade here, cover my stop, something like this. It was 3.8, yeah. Price comes down to here. By this point, I'd already moved my stop loss to break even, but I started seeing this, and this is one of the things that I watch for now very closely. It's a consolidation pattern. So price comes in, taps this high, taps this low, taps this high, taps this low, and all of this is basically just a big shakeout, right? So when I start seeing this, and then especially on something I'm working on that I'm pairing it with is when I looked at M15, right? This was the last lowest point that I wanted to see this be broken, right? The reason why I say that is because if price was to come away from the zone, and if it doesn't break this and then come back, I really don't want to take trades from it. And that's exactly what happened, right? So price came away from it a little bit, and it came very close. So I know that one, price has to clear this low. It's not. Two, I start seeing this consolidation pattern. Because of that, I ended up closing my trade out. So I took like two and a half hours from that, just because of that. But it's just different things I'm trying to do to see how I can take some more of my break-even trades and turn them into some more wins. But yeah, these were the only two winning trades I had. The rest I had 4 other break-evens. But I'm gonna turn it over to Marco so Marco can show his trades.
Yeah, let me share mine.
Give me 1 second. I cannot figure out where my, okay, there's the stop button. I hope that makes sense, Andrew. Let me know if you need further clarification.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I was looking at my daily, and I saw the 28th of September. I could see that it was a strong reaction of the weekly. So when the daily hit the daily supply, then was coming back, and I was looking at my FIP, and I saw that we are in the discount now. So I was expecting there will be some decent reaction probably happening this week in the early week, and I was then on the 15. after this morning, the price went up and that's were rejecting. And I saw that there was a clear 50 minutes demand left below, and there was very nice imbalance to fill. So I was just waiting that the price just set an alarm on this demand, and I was waiting the price to come down. That I will try to go long up higher because there was a lot of liquidity to take under the next 4-hour supply. So if I go back here, okay, go to 1 minute. So here my alarm went off, and I was expecting that hopefully getting to the 50% of the demand. Usually this is my confluence, that the deeper it goes, the better. So all the imbalance over here when I was showing before on the 15 was completely filled, and then I saw this was the last week I want to see it go because all the liquidity, all the liquidity pool was taken, and then after it was done, I could see a strong reaction happening. So I was then just waiting what will happen. I was hoping for maybe some strong reaction and getting a shock over here. But then I was just waiting what will happen over here. Let me zoom in. So as soon as I saw that there is a couple of wicks forming here, so there was some liquidity building, I was expecting that probably the price will just shoot up afterwards, and I was just setting an order over here, and then I was just waiting. Kind of as soon as this one was taken, I just set a stop loss to break even, and then I would just keep it running. And I was pretty confident that the price will take this supply out. So I was expecting maybe here I will take 80% off the whole position, but at the end the price went so extremely fast over there that I just let me go just play. See, so it was coming up so fast that I was just following it, and then was hoping, okay, let's go a bit higher. So I was just using the momentum, and then my trade ended up at somewhere here, yeah, 18. Just close it here. So, and soon after the price went down. So this was a good time to close it. Also, although I was more or less expected that we will take this liquidity out, but just didn't want to. It was becoming late because it was 6 p.m. for me. This is end of New York session, so the volume is usually losing on gold. So I was just closing here. I was happy with the 18R, and if I just play it to the end, you will see. We know what happened right now. We go to 5 minutes. I see. So if I didn't close it, I would be BA right now. So I just lost all the profit I gained through this momentum. So this was my trade today.
Nice trade, man. Lovely.
Yeah, thanks.
It's nice when that momentum's on your side and it's just
Yeah,
going and going and going and
yeah,
going.
it was
You're just like, yeah.
Here was a bit of maybe was a bit of sketchy. I mean, I went into the trade without a proper chalk, but as I saw this liquidity pool was taken, and maybe Peachy would respond. Maybe this was this new concept they are teaching, but as soon as I saw this one it's completely filled and taken, then I was thinking, okay, maybe it will just reverse. And also I was checking the dollar index, which I usually use a confluence in the opposite side. I saw that it's struggling to go higher, so I was expecting, okay, maybe it will be just start dropping today, and of course
It was good.
yeah,
Great trade, brother.
thanks.
What kind of questions y'all guys got? Any other things that we can answer for y'all?
Well, I see what he did. It's just that I just thought like on the first drive, I thought like it usually takes like 2 drives for it to just blast off like that. But I guess the first drive it just went.
You mean on my trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, let me share again. So if you see on the let me go back. So here, so I could see that the momentum was losing when it was coming down. I was checking on the 30 seconds and the 15 seconds actually. I could see the couple of drives down, so you could see was going like this, up and down once, second, and then third, and then I was okay, maybe this is the 3 times drive into my poi. So this was also another confluence, and as soon as I saw this week was taking everything, including this week on the left, and I was kind of sure that it would happen like this.
Okay, got it. So you took it like on what exact candle did you press execute?
Let me delete this one. Just on this one, on this week. I just set an order on this week. Just like that, actually.
Market execution, right?
Yeah. I was looking on, I have 2 screens, and on the left screen, I was looking on the MetaTrader, and I was just putting my finger on the buy button. I was just saying, okay, if it comes down, I'm hitting, and as soon as it comes down, I just hit the button. That's it. I'm just covering the lows, and that's it.
Dope. Got it.
Yeah, sometimes it's a bit of sketchy because usually would be wiser to, let's say, expect this one. I mean, to take this one out. Yeah. So let's say this could be the last supply, and then this could be a choke. But of course, you can see that the price never came back down.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite flips there in general. The fact that you had that supply zone right there on the 1M. And you can see you got your reaction off the supply. So this was your reaction. You got another reaction and another reaction, and then what happened? Swept the liquidity. So at that point, it's like, second that gets engulfed, I'd be freaking executing that myself.
Yeah.
I love that sort of move.
That's why I said it. Okay, let's try it, because I was seeing that this was the reaction. You can see all the liquidity was taken. If it takes to here, then liquidity is taken. Then let's go. And that's why I just hit the button.
Like you had everything kind of like in your mind as well. You were looking at that zone, and you're like, if it mitigates at least like 50% of it, it's like you're kind of getting some sort of confirmation rather than putting on a risk entry too.
Yeah, of course.
Went for you, man. That was so nice.
Can you show the 5-minute, please?
Yep. So see on the 5-minute there was this week, this below all the imbalance. So I was saying, okay, if we take this one, that's another confluence for me. If we didn't hit the 50%, at least we took all the liquidity. Yeah. That's so.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Awesome. What other questions y'all have, guys? Any charts I want to share? Trades you want to review?
Hey, Brian. Well, as you know, I trade New York session. So, can you show where you would put the supply zone for NAS, like New York session?
Oh yeah, sure. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's share my screen. Okay, can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so pretty much we're at a daily zone, right? And expecting price to go through it, which it continues to do. So it's kind of falling in line that way. But what was this, the last? So by the time you wake up, so how many hours before New York Open do you start looking at the chart?
I'm up at I started looking at the chart like around 4:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:10.
Okay. So this is 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So at this point, price ends up breaking past this low down here. So at that point, I'm gonna move my bias line from here to there because this was the highest point. I'm really looking for this whole supply to pretty much go. So when you start your day, when you start your day, look, this is me looking at the 1 hour. I mean, I've already looked at daily, thought the price was going to go down. Price hasn't come up to this area. So a couple things you could have done. You could have pulled this whole little area as your H1 POI, because this is a supply that you're kind of looking for price to come into. When you started, let's see, your first touch would have happened a little bit right at pretty much market open. So depending on how you look at it, this is 15 minutes after market open. If you use 15-minute zone, you could have used the same area as a 15-minute zone, but I tend to go whatever the highest zone is. So if I see 15-minute and 1 hour in the same place, I just go with what's on 1 hour. So we flash here. This would have been the area that I've been looking for taking some type of sell trades. We'll go down to the 1 minute. Let's see what we would have gotten. Here is it. Okay. So this would have been a chalk that you're looking for here on the 1 minute. And I mean, you could have pulled anything from premium to discount. It a little bit shy, misses, comes in the same area where you could have pulled your zone. This was the first reaction of what you would consider a breaker block. So you could have taken a trade off of this area here if you decide to put a limit order or whatnot, cover a little bit more for a spread. You could have hit that thing. That could have hit you for possibly a 15R, depending on what you're targeting. What targeting looks like. I always say look for some type of low, something to be taken, right? So if price can, well, really, you can look at it from an H1 perspective because looking at H1 zone. So what you really wanted to see was, sorry guys, press the wrong button. You want to see price come and take this. So this could have been like a target for take profit. And that could have hit for you to hit at least 11R on NASDAQ. And then price goes away from it. Because it broke this low, I'd be looking to take another sell when price comes and taps back into the same zone. Because this is something that I was mentioning earlier. When you have price taps into your zone, you want to see it take out some type of low or high, substructural. It doesn't have to be exactly structural. And then when price comes into it, you have a higher chance of price reacting off of that same zone. I used to have this, I had the same rule before, but my rule wasn't as clarified as I have it now. And you notice what happened, right? Price ended up coming right into the same H1 POI that tapped it again, and it got an even stronger move and went down. So you could have knocked this one period, and then you could have waited for, I think this is market, no, this is 11 o'clock. So this is like right after the kill zone hours ended. If you trade sometimes, but we'll go into it and just take a look and see. So let me draw another little vertical line. So let's take a look and see what we got on the 1 minute. So price comes in here and it chalks. So this would have been your first chalk in. It would have gone all the way into this. Depending on how you do your what's it called? Depending on how you do your entries and stuff like this, you could probably try to take a trade here. Maybe got out because you saw consolidation. Maybe you were taking a loss here. We'll chalk it up and just say like this has been a 1 minute loss, but we're still in the valid POI, right? So we can still take a look to take trades from this, knowing that we made a strong move before. So take a look at this. Here it breaks here. This would also been the beginning of a chalk. And just for continuity standpoint, here's breaker structure right here. Price comes in, and it comes into this area, depending on if you took breaker block or how you pull your zone. You have a breaker block pretty much here. Price has the rejections, kind of like Nate talked about. Look at all the reactions. So you have touches, wicks, 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 wicks. You can take those reactions, especially if you look at liquidity. This would have been a wipe right here, sweep some liquidity. But depending, once you see a large breakout candle, usually it's be a better bet for you to take your trade. So here we'll cover a little bit for spread, and then target wise, I would have targeted this area right here. This is your H1 in like internal structure low to take. So that was the lowest point from the move that it drove back into that POI. So I would think that would be a reasonable target for you to take for a take profit. So going back to the 1 minute, if you had taken both those trades, this one would give you about 9.5. I would say just round up. So when it goes to like this line like this, and let's say if it's 9.6, I just round up to 10. So that's just something I just do personally. So you could have nabbed here, like 11R here, taken one little a loss here, and then maybe caught this for the last trade of the day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So if a zone takes out a weak low and price goes back to that zone, it's for sure you're taking every time another trade.
Not exactly, but let me show you I'll show you real quickly a loss that I took last week. Give me a second, gotta find this. And this is something I just kind of noticed. I was like, man, I tend to do this a lot. So, well, this wasn't exactly the trade, but I'm gonna show you this real quick, right? So, oh, there we go. Okay. And it's just a recurring thing I see, right? So here we have a breaker structure, right? Breaker structure on trading time frame. So naturally you get a strong move, right? This is your demand zone. So this would be like a M15 demand, depending on how you pull it, right? So I'm just gonna pull this whole little area because this is where the break structure happens. This is all consolidation before the move upward. Price comes into here. Well, at this point, you see the strong reaction. I would have definitely taken some type of buy trade off of here and whatnot. And the target is you just want to take out this high, right? Because essentially, if price is going to make a move, it's going like this. It goes up, takes out a high, comes back to the demand, takes out a high, comes out to demand. And this is what we call a supplier demand chain. In this case, this would be a demand chain because every time it returned back to a demand, what did it do? It took out a high. So when you have a demand, we call these weak highs and strong lows because the strong lows put in new highs. The weak highs don't cause for new lows to be created, right? And so it's just a strategy or a theory that you can go back and backtest and see, right? Well, you notice that price didn't go past this high that I'll be looking for. So I really wanted it to break this. It didn't. So before, if it comes back into this POI, I would take this trade right here, and more likely I'd take a loss. And then I would take another trade like right here, and I'll take another loss. So yeah, I had one winning trade, whatever, R it gets is whatever. I'm just showing it on 15 minutes. I'm not really showing like, actual specs, but let's say, for instance, I got 3, 4, 5 R on this, but I take a -1 R, a -1 R, and then price goes through it. Well, the thing was, it never put in some type of high. In fact, I could go as low as to say this was the part it needed to break because this was the first pullback that it made before coming into this. And even that, it just wicked. So because of that, it's not very strong. Whereas when you look at here, right, we have, I'm gonna go to the 1 hour because just to make this cleaner, price ends up creating some type of supply zone. It comes into it, it takes out this low. Price comes back into this supply zone. But remember, it took out this substructural low. And so price came back into it, tapped it for a second time and gave you a second trade. Now it hasn't closed with a body. So to me, if price ends up coming back a third time to this POI, I'm not interested in taking it, because more than likely what probably will happen, it's going to do something like this and then go right through it. So the zone becomes weak. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So do you think Nas, if it doesn't break it, Nas will be doing bullish for now?
Well, this is all a shakeout when you look at it all together. Why I say that is because price largely, it did create like new supplies and stuff, but price largely stayed kind of in the same range, because you really can think of consolidation as, if you look at, there's one wick, liquidity taken, or what people say, right? And then here's another wick. So price pretty much stayed contained going here to make what I consider, it comes down to make 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches, 4 touches. It only breaks with 1 candle. That's not very strong. It comes back in the same area for a 5th touch. And we have yet another wick within the same area. All of this is consolidation. So it's either going to do this or it's going to do this. And if I had to put my money betting, I'm looking at the daily. The daily has already broken. I would say that it's probably going to go down.
You said go down, right?
Yeah, because this was a lower low. It's broken this lower low. And more likely, I'm still going to be looking for sales probably tomorrow morning, just because directionally it came from a higher high. It made from a lower high to a lower low to a higher high to it's now making, it seems like a new lower low just because it broke this. And then once I see my 1 hour chalk, then I'd be interested in taking buys on NASDAQ. I mean, you could play both, right? But the thing I like is I'd rather play err on the side of what's most likely to happen instead of taking, losses many times as possible. I'd rather avoid needless losses per se, just to catch something. Because even showing you today, these 2 moves you could have taken, you still had a good chance where you could have nabbed a 10R here. You could have nabbed another 10R and you would have taken a loss. So overall for the day, you could have been 19R up, just playing off of what you see the reactions are.
Yeah, I was thinking like that middle, the middle trade, the 9R one. I was thinking like Nas like sometimes likes to go to the extreme. So I would think like that'll be like what they call inducement right there. Well, maybe because you put a 1 hour zone. I was trying to pull a 30-minute zone or something. Or 15-minute at least.
I mean, this is also like a 15-minute. It's a 15-minute and a 1 hour at the same time. It was for its first 15 minutes. So this is the 15-minute zone. And all of this right here you have is right here is consolidation. So some people would treat this as a form of inducement. It breaks this with a candlestick body, which I like to see when I see consolidations, and then it comes and taps into the zone. Boom, you have a strong move, and it goes out to take out this low. At the minimum, it should have taken out this, which it did. From a 1 hour perspective, it was going to take out this. And generally, when you get direction right, you gotta get direction, you get the point of interest, and then you just figure out whatever your consideration is for entry. So I got direction right. Bias happened to be that we were going further down based on what we can see from market structure from the daily. Got the point of interest right because here was a point of interest that it tapped into, broke some clear consolidation. This was the move up. They got whatever fuel that they needed. So people would say, Nate or Marco, is this buy side or sell side liquidity? I always get those 2 confused.
I didn't call it sell side.
Sell side, okay.
Yeah.
So this would be like your sell side liquidity for people who trade liquidity. Price comes in and got to feel whatever it needs to. It taps into the zone. You get a good reaction when you look at it. When we look at it from the 1 minute, price goes to at least take out this low. Okay, so even if price was to have done something like this, I still would have taken the trade here for the sell because it took out some low or high, which means that it had enough strength to do so, enough structure to do so. And then price comes down here, it comes back, and now this changed from an M15 zone really to an H1 zone. It just happens to have a second tap because here it took out, really I pulled my zones kind of like this. So I would have looked at it and said, okay, here it took out. and then it comes back into the zone. I'm looking for some type of sell buy. If you wanted to refine your zone, refine it to an M15, and you have something like this. And then it comes to M15. Took a loss here, not really hurting because we've made some good profits on the day anyways. And then we take one more trade right at the end, and boom. Well, this was way outside of kill zone hours. 1 hour after the kill zone hour, and then boom, you hit your another 10-hour trade. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions y'all may have? All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all for the questions as well, too. If there's anything that we didn't get a chance to answer for y'all, don't hesitate to reach out to us in Discord. Be glad to be able to chat with you and to be able to answer any questions that you may have. And then also, don't forget on Thursday, we're having our Precision Markets office hours call with Rob. So I have a power hour call. It's going to be at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's GMT -7 in time zone wise. So don't forget. And guys, if there's anything else that you want us to go further in depth for us to be able to kind of explain in a further depth, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We offer coaching, so we can do like one-on-one with you. They really kind of go in depth because there are a lot of things, small nuances to the strategy that we do individually that we could be able to teach you in a better case in one-on-one. And we're always looking for ways to explore it to be able to expand to our repertoire of the things that we do. So just like I kind of shared with y'all like my views on consolidation and POI, some things that I just kind of know from common trends. So definitely, guys, lock in with us on coaching if there's something that you're struggling with, because we can really help accelerate your trading and help you kind of cut the learning curve down by months, hopefully years as well too. But if not, guys, definitely check out the course content. This office hours recording is going to be up in Teachables. Rob will let us know when it's up. Until then time, guys, I wish everybody successful trading for the week. And we'll see y'all in Discord. Chat with y'all soon.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, see ya.